we are studying about the circulatory system. Almost all organisms, including human beings, have some kinds of fluid circulating around in their body. That is, collecting the fluid as well as distributing the fluid. So this system, that is, distributing the fluid as well as collecting the fluid, that together forms, yes, that is circulatory system. And let us see what is the need of this circulatory system or transport of things inside the body. So every human body or every organ in the human body require the involvement of circulating certain things. So what are those things? What are the things to be circulated around in our body? First thing, our digestive system. So you know the parts of the digestive system, already you have learned all those things. So you can say that the food we have taken, that will be digested by our digestive system, and the nutrient has to be circulated throughout the body. All the cells and tissues has to get this nutrient. So that is the first one. And next one, the respiratory system. You can say that from air we are taking in air, and then our lungs will be taking oxygen, distributing this oxygen to all the cells of our body, collecting back the carbon dioxide, and then that will be exhaled out. So that is also transporting of oxygen and carbon dioxide, you can see. And the third thing, you can see that excretory system, how it works. All this extra water, excess of salt, etc. Again, nitrogenous waste also, you can say that must be eliminated from our body. So it will be collected from the blood and through the excretory organ, I mean by the kidney or by the skin, you can say that these things will be going out. There also you can say that the circulation of the things takes place. Then fourth thing is that hormones secreted by endocrine system. So different hormones are there in our body. You can say that pituitary hormone, thyroid producing thyroxine, adrenaline, like that. Different hormones are produced in our body, and these hormones also has to reach it to the target organs. Okay, so there also you can see that there is a circulation of these things. All the such functions need to transport and performed by this circulating fluids. And which are these two circulating fluids? One is blood and the other one is lymph. You can say that mainly blood and lymph are the two circulating fluids. Okay, now let us see what are the fluids in our body. So fluid means just like a liquid type. What are the things we can see? Three things are there. One is blood. So first one is blood, which is a fluid in our body. You can see that it is in the heart and it pumps this blood and to the blood vessels. So which are the three types of blood vessels? That is arteries, veins and capillaries. These are the three types of blood vessels. So in this heart will pump this blood. Okay. Second fluid in our body is tissue fluid. Where this tissue fluid is present? Yes, this tissue fluid is occupy the space between the cells of the organs, in between the cells of our organs. Say for example, pericardial fluid, that is in the heart. Like that, in between the organs of our body, certain fluid is present. That fluid is called as what? Tissue fluid. And third one is called as lymph. Okay, third fluid in our body is lymph, which contain in the lymph vessels and in the lymphatic organs, just like our spleen and tonsils. So these are the three main fluid what we can see in our body. First one is blood. The heart is pumping the blood. Three blood vessels, namely arteries, veins and capillaries. Tissue fluid. This fluid is present in between the organs. For example, pericardial fluid like that. Then the lymph, usually it goes through the lymph vessels, and again you can say that it is present in the lymphatic organs, like just like a tonsil, which is an organ present in your throat, along inside the mouth tonsils, as well as a spleen concerned with the digestive system. And here you can see that usually in human being or almost in all mammals, you can see that blood usually circulate in the respective blood vessels, not directly into the body, throughout the body, not like that. Throughout the blood vessels, this blood usually circulate, and so it is called as a closed type of circulatory system. Why? Because blood is usually circulating inside the body through closed blood vessels. Such type of circulatory system is called as what? Closed blood circulatory system. Whereas in insects, certain insects and all, you can see that this blood will be flows into the open into the body, and such circulatory system is called as open blood circulatory system. So two types of blood circulatory system in living things you can say, especially in animals. So one is called as closed blood circulatory system, in that blood usually flows through the blood vessels only. Okay, not directly open into the other part of the body, then blood vessels will carry to all the cells. Okay, whereas in insects, it will be directly open into the body spaces, and that is called as open circulatory system. And the main blood vessels, that is arteries, that is carrying blood, oxygenated blood, and veins bringing back blood to the heart. Okay, and again you can see that some non-circulating fluid in our body. Non-circulating means which will not be circulating to other parts of the body. Say for example, the synovial fluid between the joints, between the bones, joints, you can see this fluid, that is called as synovial fluid. Again in the ear, in the eyes, you can see that vitreous humor. In the eye, another fluid. Even in the ear also, you can see that endolymph, perilymph, all these fluid, it is not circulating to other parts of the body. So such fluid, it will be in that particular organ only. Say for example, vitreous humor, aqueous humor, etc. These two fluid which is present in the eye, that is in the eye only it is present, not in other part of the body. There is no need of circulating these things. Such fluids are called as non-circulating fluids. Now, first we can study about blood and the properties of blood. Okay, first thing is that blood is never stationary. Stationary means what? Stagnant. So, is it stopped anywhere? No. Always 24 hours also you can see that blood is in motion. So always it is in motion, and you can see that it will from heart to the arteries, and from the body again to the veins it is collecting back. So you can see that it is never stationary, always it is flowing through the blood vessels. So first thing is it is never stationary. Second thing is color. What's the color of the blood? Of course, obviously all of you know that it is red in color, and you can see the blood is somewhat a thick fluid and bright red in color. When you have taken this blood from the artery, it will be bright red in color, and if you have taken the blood from the vein, it will be dark red. So understood the difference? If you are taking the blood from the artery, it will be bright red in color. Why? Because more oxygen is present, oxygenated blood is passing to all parts of the body through artery. That's why it is bright red in color. Whereas if you are taking blood from the vein, it will be dark red in color, because usually it will be deoxygenated blood, that is bit carbon dioxide will be present in that one. Okay, so deoxygenated blood. That's why this color change. Next, what's the volume? How much amount of blood is present in a normal human being? In an adult male, usually 5 to 6 liters of blood will be present in the body. Whereas in female, less you can say. So 5 to 6 liters of blood usually present in an adult human body. And now what's the taste of this blood? Have you ever tasted the blood? Of course, sometimes you can see that a small bleeding happens in your gum or in between the teeth, or a small cut happen in the tongue. You might have tasted. In the mouth it comes and you might have tasted the blood. What's the taste? Yes, it is saltish in taste. So, if the blood is slightly alkaline, it is not acidic, it is slightly alkaline with a pH that is 7.3 to 7.45. Bit alkaline, neutral means it is 7. As a pH value is 7 means any solution that is neutral. Above 7 means it will be alkaline, and below 7 pH value means it will be acidic. So here the blood is bit alkaline because its pH value is nearly 7.3 to 7.45. Now let us see what are the functions of this blood. There are two important functions for this blood. One is transport and the second one is protection. So transport and protection are the first one is transport and second one is protection. These are the two main functions of the blood. And now first we can see the transport by blood. So you can see that transport of digested food. First thing is that transport of digested food. You know that after food is get digested, its nutrients has to reach to all cells of the body, not only in our digestive system. The nutrients has to reach all the parts of the body. So you can say that simple sugars like glucose, amino acid, vitamins, salt, all these things has to reach to all the cells of the body. So first thing is transport of digested foods. So first one, digested foods. So all the nutrients has to reach all the cells and tissues. So transport of digested food. Second thing is that transport of oxygen. So how from lungs you can see that to all the tissues the oxygen has to reach. So how it will be reaching? Yes, definitely this oxygen combined with the blood, and then it is reaching to all the tissues of our body. So when this oxygen combines with the hemoglobin, it will form a substance which is called as oxyhemoglobin. So hemoglobin, you know, in the blood, the red coloring pigment, that is hemoglobin. So it combines with the oxygen and form a substance that is called as what? Oxyhemoglobin. So this oxygenated blood has to reach all the parts of the body. Okay, so second thing is transport of oxygen. Third thing is transport of carbon dioxide. So what to do? Carbon dioxide also has to be transported out of the body, because when we are inhaling, not only the oxygen, along with that carbon dioxide also we are inhaling, because air is the mixture of all these gases. Okay, so when we are inhaling, this carbon dioxide will be inhaled along with oxygen. Our body don't want this carbon dioxide, it has to be expelled out. So here you can see that from the other tissues we have to collect back. Which one is collecting back? Blood will be collecting back this carbon dioxide to which organ? Yes, to the lungs. And you can see that at that time this hemoglobin partially it combines with the carbon dioxide and forming a compound which is called as carbaminohemoglobin. So Hb, this is hemoglobin plus carbon dioxide gives carbaminohemoglobin. Okay, so carbaminohemoglobin, and then it has to be expelled out of our body. So the main thing, blood only is carrying this carbon dioxide from other tissues to the lungs, and lungs it is expelling out. Next one is transport of excretory material. Excretory material. So the blood has to transport the waste materials. What are the things? Usually you can see that from the tissues of liver, kidney, etc. Skin, we have to urea, uric acid, all these things you can nitrogenous waste. We have to excrete out from the body. So the blood is collecting all this waste material, and through our kidney, through our skin, etc. These waste materials are excreting out of the body. Next one is distribution of hormones. So hormones, how you can say that different hormones are producing. Later you will study about the different hormones. Say for example, pituitary hormone at the base of the brain it is present. Thyroxine which is present in the neck region, thyroid gland, adrenal gland. Like the different glands are there producing different hormone which is very necessary for the proper functioning of our body. So this distribution of hormone also by blood only. Special glands will be producing this hormone. Say for example, our adrenal gland which is situated at the top of the kidney. Each kidney's top adrenal gland is present, and this adrenal gland is producing a hormone adrenaline. And like that in the throat, thyroid, you can see thyroxine is present, and this thyroid gland that is producing this thyroxine. Then it has to be go to the blood and circulated throughout the body. So this hormone also you can see that is circulating in our body through blood only. So next one is hormones, and last one is distribution of heat. So how distribution of heat? The blood helps in keeping the temperature, and you can say that the body in a uniform temperature is kept by the blood. By circulating the blood, you can see that the temperature of the body is kept constant. So these are the transport function, that is two functions this blood has. One is transport and the other one is protection. What are the transporting things happens? Digested food, that nutrients are distributed throughout the body to all the cells. Next, oxygen, what we breathe in, the oxygen has to reach to all tissues. From the tissues collecting back carbon dioxide. Then excretory material or the waste material has to be eliminated from the body through the blood. Then hormones. In our body, certain hormones are there that has to reach to the cells or tissues, and the regulation of heat, a proper temperature has to be kept by the body. Now, what are the protection by blood? What are the how this protection of the body is done by the blood? So, blood forms. So, whenever a wound happens or a hurt happens in your body, you can see that immediately blood will be coming out. Then even within 2 to 3 minutes, you can see a clot will be forming. Blood stops there. Otherwise, continuously loss of blood will be happening, and what happens? The person may die. Okay, so blood itself form a clot on the cut region. Okay, this clot serves to prevent by clotting the blood. Mainly, we can see few things. One thing is that loss of further blood from the body. So, by clotting that one, the blood further loss of blood will not happen from the body. Second thing is that if the wound is open or blood is continuously flowing, you can see cut region is open. There is a big possibility of this is disease causing germs may enter. Okay, so by forming the clot, what will happen is it prevent or stop the entry of disease causing germs. Then second way how blood is protecting the body, the WBC or white blood cells. Okay, that is one of the component of the blood. The WBC protect the body by engulfing the bacteria which may enter our body. So you can say that whenever a foreign body, say for example a disease causing bacteria enters in our body, what happens? This WBC engulf it, it comes and engulf it, and thus by killing it and thus protecting our body from certain diseases. Then third thing, how this blood protect our body? It produces antitoxins and antibodies. So, blood produce antitoxin against toxin, because these bacteria are all when enter into the body, it produces certain substances which is called as toxins. Okay, so what this blood will do? It produce one certain substance to neutralize this toxin, that is called as what? Antitoxin. Then again antibodies, to get the immunity, you can say that it will produce what? Antibodies, so that this poisonous substance will neutralize and this germs, thus this blood will be killing. So that is the two-way protection. That is, one is transport, already this boys was in protecting the body by the three-way, by the clotting of blood. Second one, engulfing the bacteria, and third way by producing antitoxin and antibodies. Now let us see what is the composition of blood, or what are the cells present in the blood. So all of you know blood is a fluid tissue. It flows from one region to another part. From the blood it reaches all the parts of the body. Why it reaches? Because of its fluid nature. If it is solid, means what will happen? It will not be flowing like that. So the fluidity. So there are four main components in the blood. One is called as plasma. This is the fluid component, plasma. This is nothing but fluid. Then cellular component, or what is solid component. One is RBC or red blood corpuscle, WBC or white blood corpuscles, and third one is platelets. So among these four components, this is the fluid one, okay, or liquid one, fluid one is plasma, and the rest three are cellular. Means these three are solid components. This is the fluid component. So first let us see about plasma. Plasma is a fluid component, and in the blood nearly 50 to 60% of blood consists of what? Plasma. So this is plasma is 50 50 to 60% in the blood constitute what? Plasma. And in the plasma, what are the things present? Okay, what is the color of the plasma? It is light yellow colored liquid. Light yellow colored, very pale yellow colored liquid. And it contains four things. One is water. So nearly 90 to 92% is water. So water is present. 90 to 92% is water is present in the that makes fluid. Okay. Then next one is protein. 7 to 8% is protein. 7 to 8% of protein is present in the plasma. And again, inorganic salt nearly 1%. Inorganic salt 1%. And again, other substances very minute quantity. Traces means very minute quantity. So these are the things present in the plasma. So water nearly 90 to 92% of water is present in the plasma. Protein 7 to 8% is present. Inorganic salt nearly 1% is present. And other substances traces means minute quantity it is present. Okay, the inorganic salt, see here, that is 1%. So what are the inorganic salt present? Sodium chloride and sodium bicarbonate. This is inorganic salt, that is sodium chloride, NaCl2, sodium bicarbonate. These are the inorganic salt present in the blood plasma. Then again, among the other substances, here traces of other substances I told you. What are the other substances? Amino acid, fibrinogen and hormones, urea, etc. So the other substances are, what are those things? Amino acid, fibrinogen, then hormones, urea. These are the other substances in very minute or very small quantity it is present here. So blood plasma is the fluid component. Nearly 50 to 60% of water is present, and again it consists of, you can say, water in the blood plasma. Water is 90 to 92%, protein 7 to 8%. Inorganic salt is 1%, that is sodium chloride and sodium bicarbonate, and other substances, that is very trace amount like that amino acid, then fibrinogen, hormones, then urea, etc. are present. Okay. The plasma from which the protein fibrin has removed is called as serum. Vaccination, etc. you have seen. In that protein fibrinogen, when we are removing protein here, fibrinogen in the other substances. Okay. If we are removing that one, the remaining substance we are calling it as what? Serum. In the case of medicine, you have studied what is the use of serum. Okay. So what is meant by serum? From the blood, the protein fibrinogen is removed. The remaining substance is called as serum. Now we can go to the next cellular elements, that is RBC, WBC and platelets. Okay. So RBC, otherwise called as erythrocytes. RBC, otherwise called as what? Erythrocytes. And these are called as erythrocytes, and they are minute biconcave disc-like structure at the center and rounded at the periphery. So RBC structure, if you are drawing, it is biconcave structure like this. So here you can say that it will be biconcave, and so almost the structure will be like this. Okay. So it is minute means very small, biconcave, disc-like, and in the periphery, this region is disc-like. Okay. And these are very small. Already I told you it is minute. So these are very small, nearly 7 microns. So what is the size? 7 microns, and so it is very small, which enables the size is very small, so easily it can move through the blood vessels and even through the capillaries. And the small size and the concavities on either side provide a large surface area which makes them very efficient in absorbing oxygen. So here you can see this makes a large surface area so that it will be very efficient in absorbing oxygen. Then the small size enables this RBC to travel through these small blood vessels like capillaries in the body. Okay, so because of its small size, that is 7 microns, very small size, it enables it to go through or travel through these blood vessels. So you can say that in adult human male has nearly 5 million RBCs. Okay, whereas a female nearly 4.5 million RBCs only. So a little less in female. Okay. Then in the blood, you know the red coloring pigment. What is that called? It is hemoglobin. Red coloring pigment is nothing but hemoglobin. You learned in previous classes. So it's a effective chemical constant of RBC. Means red blood corpuscles, otherwise called as erythrocytes. And this hemoglobin consists of two parts. Hemoglobin consists of two parts. The first part is called as hemin. That is the iron part. Iron part that is called as hemin, and the protein part is called as globin. Hemoglobin. So, and first part is hemin, that is the iron part, and the second part is nothing but globin, that is the protein part. Okay, so hemoglobin consists of two parts, and it has the ability to readily to combine with oxygen and form a substance called as oxyhemoglobin. So oxyhemoglobin, that is hemoglobin combines readily with oxygen and forms a substance which is called as what? Oxyhemoglobin. This is an unstable compound, and so that it gives up oxygen to all the tissues and cells. So when blood is circulating, you can say the oxygenated blood, when circulating, this oxyhemoglobin which is very unstable thing, and so it can easily supply oxygen to the needy tissues. And again, this hemoglobin, it can carry a very small amount of carbon dioxide also. So while respiring along with the oxygen, carbon dioxide also we are inhaling. Where this will reach? It will be in the tissues. From the tissues, the blood has to collect back what? This carbon dioxide, and it has to exhale out of our body, isn't it? So the hemoglobin, it can carry a small amount of this carbon dioxide, and then it forms a substance that is called as carbaminohemoglobin. So hemoglobin, it combines with carbon dioxide and forms a substance called as carbaminohemoglobin. With oxygen, it forms carboxyhemoglobin. Now again, it has a strong affinity. This hemoglobin has a strong affinity to combine with what? Carbon monoxide, and it forms a stable compound. You see, this this one oxyhemoglobin, that is an unstable compound. So readily it can very fastly it can give oxygen to the cell. Whereas the same thing, this hemoglobin has a very strong affinity to combine with carbon monoxide, and it forms a stable compound that is called as what? Carboxyhemoglobin. So three terms you are studying. One is oxyhemoglobin, that is hemoglobin with oxygen. Then carbaminohemoglobin, carbon dioxide with oxygen. Carbon dioxide with hemoglobin. Then third one, carbon monoxide with hemoglobin, that is called as carboxyhemoglobin. And what happens if we breathe this carboxyhemoglobin to a certain amount? That death may occur. Usually when vehicles are moving, the thick black smoke emitting out. Usually it contains what? Nothing but carbon monoxide. So that is a poisonous gas. How it will become poisonous? Hemoglobin combines with this carbon monoxide and form a stable compound which is called as carboxyhemoglobin. And what it will do? It will cut down the capacity of the blood transporting oxygen and thus leading to death. Okay, now let us see the life and death of RBC. How RBC, the life and death of RBC. In adults, the RBCs are produced in the marrow of long bones. So in adult, usually it is produced in the bone marrow. RBCs are produced in the bone marrow. Means what is with the bone marrow? A thick brown thing which is inside the long bones of human being. That is called as what? Bone marrow. So this bone marrow is the center of the production of RBC. So you can see in the rib bone it may be forming ribs covering the chest, rib bones, or sometimes it may be formed in the breastbone and in the ilium as well as in the hip girdle also these are forming. Then in children, what happens? Children, these RBCs are produced in the bone marrow of all bones until the age of 5 years. Okay, in all bones, this RBC will be produced till the age of 5 years, and you can see that this RBC have no nucleus. So at the time of production, it has a nucleus, but as this RBC mature, it will lose its nucleus and it will become enucleate. Enucleate means a cell which do not have nucleus. So on maturity, RBC will lose its nucleus. So it becomes enucleate. Narrow blood vessels. So these are the advantages of the RBC due to the lack of nucleus, due to the lack of mitochondria, and due to the lack of endoplasmic reticulum.